Bertram theory. This is one of the best kind of editor moments that I maybe forgot to mention in some of my other recaps. Like, what are some of my favorite? One of them is even from The Sopranos. At the end of episode 5, Chris should come and save him and help him, where that mafioso guy is too much for Tony to handle. So that's the ending there. Avatar 2, I rewrote the whole thing where Jake dies, and now the son takes over and protects the mom from being killed by the villain. So like the villain kills Jake, and then is about to kill Nateri too, and then the kid saves her to indicate the older kid saves her to indicate that now I'll be the head of the family, and that would have been a perfect organic ending to, segue that they introduce the kids now, and then they take over, right? And now he's going to protect everybody, and he's going to be the new Jake and move forward. I think that would have been an amazing, organic, meaningful way to end that, but instead they recycle the other fucking villain, because I wrote the villain differently too. It was like that woman with the coffee mug at the beginning, who I don't even know really who that is, but I turned her into a bigger character, a smarter character, better. So she's the main villain who maybe worked with Quaritch, for Quaritch, trained under him, something like that. And so it's out for vengeance, so you still keep the Quaritch mindset alive without needing to literally recycle him in a very stupid way with the avatars. They could still use them in some manner to try to fight, right? But to actually recycle him through that, I think is dumb. And then, but no, what was I saying? Just, the Bertram theory. So you had that. What other ones did I have? It's always like a game theory explanation, like Harry Potter, where the stone is actually being used to turn his Quirrell's skin to stone, instead of just, it's the power of love, right? These are some of my favorite editing sort of things. I feel like there's one with Dragon Ball Z, I mean, obviously Dragon Ball Z somewhere, but I forget what it is. Whatever, just like a game theory explanation. So this one in The Mentalist would be that Bertram is Red John, and his phobia is of clowns, and that's why he couldn't keep a poker face while playing poker. So it would explain the one reason that people say why he couldn't be Red John, the fact that, how could Red John have such a poor poker face? But it would be something you'd have to think back a while in the series, and you come to a very nuanced explanation or realization, which is that, the reason why he wasn't good at that one thing that you would think means he can't be Red John is actually his phobia and his weakness. And it's pretty nuanced that, it's of clowns, and the fact that you have the jester is obviously kind of a subtle way to reveal that, in the sense that it's exactly the sort of Jane-esque deduction that would be more deserved. Because, see, that's something that happens much earlier on in the series, right? So it's not on the front of your mind. Bertram playing poker, I forget exactly, I think it was in season 4 maybe, or somewhere like that, but you would have forgotten about that, but you would bring it up in saying that, that's why he can't be Red John. So it simultaneously addresses he could be Red John because that's his one phobia, and the phobia isn't even super obvious, like, what, he can't keep a poker face at cards, what does that have to do with anything? It's because he's afraid of clowns, and one of the cards in poker happens to have a jester, happens to have a clown. So it's a very layered thing that would be a classic Patrick Jane deduction, and that would actually be sort of more deserved than the pigeon. See, the problem with the bird is, we see McAllister, if it was from season 1, episode 2 even, I could accept that he showed a phobia there. But he shows the phobia in season 6, only a couple episodes before, right before being revealed. So it's like they're showing the phobia in season 6, episode 3, or whatever it is, where he appears, and then, oh my goodness, a few episodes later, that's the phobia. Like, really, is that really all we get? There's sort of a subtle moment where he runs away from the house that Lisbon's in because there's pigeons there, and that sort of indicates something, but generally speaking, it's not a very strong point. Like, it's not a strong point because, whatever, the pigeon, it happens too recently. But that would have been something earlier in the series. It would have been something more nuanced. It would have been something excellent. It would have been something good. It would have been something kind of deserved. And the reason why it would have been deserved is because I don't know. I feel like that it's at least better than what we got, and it seems like a super organic explanation. It's a way that, like, and probably nobody's ever come up with this theory. It's exactly my way of thinking. This deserves to be like a clip by itself, but I'll never remember to do it. Like, so Bertram is Red John, and the circumstance of how they meet in the church might have been a little different then. But maybe not even. I mean, he still had it beat. Like, let's say Bertram was really Red John. What was Jane's plan then? Oh, he didn't have one. So you could say, oh, he knew it was McAllister, but okay, it is McAllister. And McAllister's plan as Red John is to have Bertram kill Jane and take the fall. And have Oscar kill Bertram, or maybe not even kill Bertram, just have him take the fall as Jane and kill Jane. So there you go. So he didn't have a plan for that, first of all. Like, but no, you expect the pigeon and all this, and so it's something further earlier on in the series, right, that you'd have to remember back, so that makes it more subtle. It explains one of the reasons why he couldn't be Red John that people might bring up, that, oh, how could he have such a poor poker face? It addresses that. It has a subtle, nuanced way to show the phobia that, oh, it's clowns. I don't know how exactly Jane would use that against him in that moment. That's something I'm struggling to figure out, because you'd have to bring it out in some major way. Like he somehow dresses up like a clown, or he brings a clown with him. It'd be harder to do it in the moment to, like, suddenly do that. He'd have one of it. It's actually organic to the origin of the series too. How his dad was a carny and he knows all these carnival friends. He would have one of them show up as a clown, or a couple clowns, and they'd end up helping him take down Red John, but just in addressing the phobia. So it would be a game theory element too. That his carny friends from the circus come and bring a bunch of clowns or dress up as clowns. And even though, again, brute force, Red John's prepared for any eventuality like that, it doesn't matter because they only came to spook him, not to actually fight him or whatever. So somehow, between the carnies and that, and between the carnies and that, and Jane's background there, between the poker game, between the fact that it's earlier in the seasons, that you have to think back to it, the fact that it suits Jane's deductive nature, the fact that you have this other point of, it being a longer standing character in Bertram where you see a lot more of him, right, rather than McAllister, who you barely see, so it almost defeats the point. Like, all of that combined is so excellent.